Hi, this is Tom. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita YouTube recording. And we're going to be talking about chapter 15 today. The Supreme Self, or Purushottama Yoga, a particular type of Purusha Yoga. Lauren, did you want to? Okay, I'll just keep going. Sorry about the intro. Okay, so this is one of the, one thing that I have to talk a little bit about, and Lauren and I just ended up talking about it. This stuff is pretty complex, it's challenging, and we might not nail it right away every time, but this is our general understanding based on our own yoga practices, our reading, and our studies, which in both cases we've been quite extensive. So we're going to do something a little unique today. I'm going to talk about the chapter, and then Lauren is going to talk about the chapter, because we both have a little bit different viewpoints or perspectives that we want to expand for us all. Okay, so I'll begin my discussion. So Krishna starts off this chapter by talking about a tree. Ashvati, or pipal tree. It's a fig tree and it's a type of a fig tree in India. But it's one of those weird trees, like a mangrove tree, where the roots or the branches grow down and the taproot is up. So my interpretation of this, as Krishna starts to talk about it, is that this tree is a representative of a human life. And that tree is filled with sense objects, gunas, the three gunas, right? We've talked about tamas, rajas, and sattvic, states of mind, all of the attachments we have as individuals. But what Krishna is telling us here is we need to cut this tree down. This tree represents our ignorance about ourselves. We think we are this tree, but what we are really is the essence of the tree, that taproot. So Krishna is telling us that we need to cut down the tree with detachment and see that the root of the tree, the essence of the tree, the taproot of the tree, is that essence of the self that we're striving to come into contact with. So in this, I feel like he's comparing this tree to us, our spiritual individuality, and he's telling us, hey, you have to cut down the things that you think are real about yourself, who you think your true self is, because your true self is something underneath that, different than that, more full, more complete, more universal than that. And our goal in the yoga practice, as Krishna has been talking about, is to get back to this true self, not the ego self. So to me, the tree is a representative of the ego self that needs to be cut down, chopped away, and moved beyond. Okay, then Krishna starts describing this realized or wise man that they have. So when we see the true self, no light from the sun, light from the moon, or light from a fire can illuminate us even more than we are from within. So what he's saying here is once you have realized the true self within yourself, become realized, you leave everything else behind. And the light that you have within, because of your understanding, cannot be influenced by those other light sources, sun, moon, fire. That's how bright this light shines within the illumined person. This is also where Krishna lives. Krishna lives in this abode of light and awareness. And that when one realizes the true self, becomes one with Krishna, they enter into his abode. This abode that it's so light that it cannot be influenced or changed by the light of the sun, the moon, or the fire. So it's got to be a place of incredible illumination. And at that point, when someone becomes realized, they're no longer separate. There's no separation of ego from the rest of the world. They're more in tune with themselves, which is in connection with Krishna and all of the other big S selves that live out in the world. So there's a unity that occurs when one has realized this. When a soul is born, they have actions, perceptions, and a mind. As the soul moves to another body, they take these things with them. This is the transmigration from soul to soul to soul. There are certain things that are taken with someone as they get reincarnated, But the person who is realized, who sees the true self within, no longer takes his baggage with them. This baggage is alleviated because that is associated with the unreal self. The real self they see underneath that. The unrealized, who do not see the soul, move from body to body, having yet understood the wisdom to see themselves who they really are. Okay. Then Krishna talks about, with just a drop of his energy, he nourishes all the plants in the world. He nourishes and enters in all the breathing creatures of the world, everything alive. He is the fire that digests your food. He is the understanding within all of us, and all of the scriptures lead to him. So we have been talking now 14 plus chapters about all of the attributes of Krishna, about him being the self within, about us realizing that self and moving through life without all of that attachment and baggage that we're accumulating. And what Krishna is saying to us here is he is the life force around us. He is that thing which digests food. He is that thing which illumines life. He is that thing, the energetic presence that pervades all of the earth and humanity. So again, Krishna is just telling us how elevated he is. Even to the point of differentiating between Prakriti and Purusha. In the last part of this chapter, he talks about, well, there's Prakriti, nature, there's Purusha, the soul, and then there's Krishna. Well, Krishna is that entity that supports all of these things, Prakriti, Purusha, the world around us, and each individual and plant and living structure in the world. So this is my take on chapter 15. I'm anxious to do a group discussion about it, but I'm also anxious to hear Lauren's viewpoint on it. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in class or online. Why don't you pause it for a second? Upper left-hand corner.
very enlightening